Hello, Cherries fans. Welcome back to another watch along. We are back for 2024. Yes, we haven't gone anywhere. Apologies, I've not been as present on the channel more recently, but we're going to kick things back into gear for the remainder of this season. We're back with a watch along. I will try and get a Sparky stat video at some point soon. I've been struggling for ideas in some areas, but regardless, that doesn't matter. That's for the future. Right now, it's match day. It's game time, and welcome to every single one of you that are joining me from the start. Welcome to all the Bournemouth fans, any Forest fans that happen to be dropping in. Although I know that there will be a fair share of Forest watch-alongs for you to be jumping onto at this moment in time as well. Well, new year. No new players in the starting 11 or bench as of yet. Well, I say new. We've got some returning players that we haven't seen before, which includes a first appearance, well, a first start of the bench for the returning Romain Favre. Let's bring up the lineups here. We've got Sinistera coming back in, and we've got Clivert coming back in. Apart from that, it's the same 11 that featured in the last game against Liverpool, I believe. It's because that was, sorry, West Ham, Liverpool. I'm going too far back. In the last game against West Ham. Yeah. Clivert coming in for Scott, who's dropped to the bench, and we've got Sinistera coming in for Tavernier. And Tavernier is an interesting one. He's been sort of, I think Tavernier's been a little bit... It's been weird not seeing the Tavernier that I think a lot of us know and love. He's not quite looked at it for the last, would you say month and a bit? But at the same time, stats-wise, he's still been one of our most important creators in terms of chances created. He's still right at the top for us over these last few weeks. So hopefully he'll be able to come off the bench and have an impact. I do like the start of Sinistera starting. And obviously with him and Semenyo, you could see them swapping wings. I could very definitely see that, but you would imagine at the start it's going to have Semenyo on the right and Sinistera on the left. Semenyo is quite comfortable on his left. Sinistera really wants to cut in on his right. But yeah, want to see that Christie Cook combination in midfield dominating the game again, hopefully. But it's not just about us; it is about Forest as well, obviously. And they have they started to cook for a bit under Nuno. Got a couple of nice results. Haven't won in 2024, but they do have quite a scary couple of players. We've got Matt Sells making his debut, coming in after his transfer from Liga. I mean, I don't have too much bad things to say really against the keeper that's been starting the last few games. My God, his name has just left me. I'm really annoyed at that now. Matt Turner. There we go. Finally got it. I don't have too many bad things. To be honest, I wish he'd started. But, you know, we did score 3 goals against him in the reverse, and he has been dropping a few howlers. So it's fair enough that they've brought in a keeper and they're starting him straight away. I don't think we've seen much of Tavares for Forest this season, so that'd be an interesting one on the left. And I think Semenyo should be trying to do everything he can to get at Tavares. And as for the rest, you've got Omabamidele has come in for them recently at centre-back, and he'll be partnering Murillo, who's a player that likes to play on the ball but is liable to make a mistake. And you've got Nico Williams on the right, which should be an interesting battle between him and Sinistera, which then leads into the midfield and the sort of more interesting part of Forest's attackers. I mean, you've got Yates and Dominguez in midfield. Dominguez will try to get forward a little bit more. Yates, I'm not all that impressed by. He's just a hard worker, but he's not got really much more to him as far as I'm concerned. He's a bit like the Longstaffs in Newcastle. You know, really hard worker, local boy, works really hard, but doesn't really have much else going for him. Saying that, he'll probably score this week. But then you've got Hudson-Odoi, Morgan Gibbs-White, Anthony Elanga and Awani, and I've forgotten his first name now. But like, you've got some really strong forward options there for Forest, and that's what scares me the most about this game. I think we'll score. I think we'll definitely score, but that attack of theirs makes me think they'll definitely score against us. It's not a weak attack by any means. They really do have something going forward, and with Nuno, they like to play quite a counter-attacking system. This game will suit Forest. They will sit back. They'll have the ball now and again, and they'll get forward and do what they do. But they will really try and pounce on the counter, and they've got the players to do it. So it's going to be, how effective are we at winning the ball back when we lose it? How good is our counter press? And can Christie and Cook shut down attacks before they happen in midfield? Because if they get past those two, and you end up with the 4-on-4 or worse, when they're thundering forward with the pace of all of their attackers and the skillfulness of some of them as well, it will be a worry. So that's Forest. But for Bournemouth, feeling pretty good still. I do think we're in a good spot. Obviously had no win in 3, but that's an away draw against West Ham. And obviously losing to Liverpool and Spurs, which is no great shakes. And we were doing pretty well in that Spurs game. It was not a 3-1. We got, unfortunately, battered in the end by Liverpool. But I still think Bournemouth are showing themselves pretty well at the moment. But what does everyone else think? We've got a fair chunk of you joining at the moment, 20 odd, which is lovely to have you in. What are your predictions? What are you thinking about the game? I'm here to give my opinion, but I do want to hear what everyone else is thinking. Please do say hi in the chat if you're here. Give me your thoughts. Say hi. Well, we welcome you all in, whatever club you support. Obviously, I expect most of you to be Bournemouth fans, but we've got Ben in. Oh, you jumped in early, Ben, before the stream even started, but nice to have you here. 5 likes already. Someone's cheating. John was one of the cheaters. Nice to have you in again, John, from across the pond. And Alan is saying afternoon 3-1 to Cherries. I think it'd be 3-2, but I think I'm with you in terms of 3 goals. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tricky one. We're definitely favourites, and I do think that one of the positive things for me more recently. Well, I say more recently, it's something that I only really got back to just the other day. For those of you that are familiar with the other 14's baseline tracker, which I have done a video with a little bit of explaining on what this is. If you go back through the channel, I can't remember when I did it. It would have been a year and a bit ago. For a brief explain, it's basically, this only measures against what you get at home against teams outside of the Big Six, essentially. And it's saying that really you should be winning all 13 of your home games as a baseline against the other teams in this list. And if you win all those games, you'll get 39 points and you'll stay up. So it's, if you don't win those games, you drop points. But if you get points again away from home or against any of the Big Six, you improve your rating against the baseline tracker. So at the moment, we're on a +8. We're actually doing better than Brighton on a baseline tracker. Bear in mind, we still have to play Luton at home. But we've still got other games to improve this rating. And it shows we're doing comfortably against the teams around us, but we're getting points in situations where you might not expect us to as well. So it's all building us up to have a really positive season. And I'm really not worried about relegation in the slightest at all anymore, which is quite nice to say after last season, where we were just constantly worrying about whether we would going to stay up at all, until we managed to sort of turn it around right at the end. But as you can see there, we're +8 on the baseline tracker. It's really good. We can only lose points today on the baseline tracker because we are at home to Forest, but I still would expect us to win and maintain our position and then keep climbing up the table. Speaking of the table, that baseline tracker is nice and all. The table itself is the more important thing, obviously. So I'll say hi to everyone in the chat again in a second, but here is the table as it stands, sort of where we are. And there's Forest in 17th on 20 points. Now, they obviously Come April, we might find an interesting result with regards to their point total by the end of the season, but they are just barely outside of the relegation zone above Everton. Luton have actually leapfrogged them on goal difference, with Luton picking up a point yesterday with a bonkers 4-4 draw away to Forest. Luton have got 4 points against Newcastle this season. That's ridiculous. Then you've got Brentford on 22 that have started to pick up a little bit, although they've only got one win recently. They have definitely picked up with Ivan Toney. Crystal Palace with 2 points ahead of, but we've got 2 games in hand on. Level with Fulham, 2 games in hand, but a worse goal difference. And today, it would have to be a ridiculous turnaround, but we would go level with Wolves if we were to win today, and that would put us 2 behind Chelsea, who are in the top half of the table. So, we really can look up. I'm not so... I'm not so overconfident. I think, it's Europe is a realistic target. I don't think it is, but a top half finish is definitely a realistic target for me, and I would really like to see us push on and see if there's definitely a chance that we could get a top half finish. Right, let's say hello to everyone else that's joining. Hello, David. Welcome. Feeling confident if we can deal with the physicality of Awuni, then we should be fine. 2-0. Hello, Anti-Skeptic saying afternoon. John 2-1 to the Cherries. Feeling good. Everyone's positive. Gene, hello. Hopeful for a good game, but Forest had been playing really tough lately. I mean, their results recently aren't great, but they were in some good form. And I do think they're massively improved compared to when they were under Cooper. And Ben hoping for a decent win. That way I can drink for free in this time. Yeah, the Derby fans will be... all you need to do is go wearing a Bournemouth shirt if Forest win, and you won't pay for a drink, will you? The Derby fans will be all over that. Gene, hopeful for a good result. Forest been playing tough recently, but if we play full 90, we will win. Yeah, I believe that we should do as well. If we work hard and don't let up, which is what we are liable to do now and again in games. But, that Swansea win was sort of one of those examples where start strong, hit it hard early on, and then you can just coast the rest of the game. But very different to playing mid-table Championship compared to bottom half Premier League. Right, it is... just hit 2:00, so the game should probably be kicking off any second now. Bear in mind, obviously, I am going to be probably behind most of you. I may well be level with the radio if you've got radio background on. But for me, the squads are just being discussed and shown on screen. And then I will give my opinions on the match as it happens. Thank you to everyone that's joining us. Please do hit the like button. Obviously, we haven't really spoken much about the game yet. Hopefully, the game goes well, and hopefully, I get flooded with likes if we win. But for now, if you are enjoying our content, please do hit the like button and subscribe. We are so close to 2,000 subscribers, which would be a massive milestone for us. We are not a big channel. 2,000 subscribers would be fantastic for us. But yes, let me make sure that my first half banner is ready, which it is. I'll bring the lineups back across down here in a bit. But the team is in a huddle. A lot of nodding and agreement. Focus on Solanke. Solanke now obviously the top scoring Englishman in the division. He's also, no one has scored more non-penalty goals than Solanke after his finish against West Ham. So he's that guy at the moment, and he's playing against the team. Obviously, he scored a hat-trick against last time out. So, yeah, I think a lot of us feeling very confident about Solanke today. But this should be interesting regardless. I think this will be a very fun game for the neutral. We'll see how we feel about that. But the referee has blown the whistle, and Looks like a bit of a set play immediately, but the ball from Christie is not high enough over Williams to find Sinistera. So we start with Forest on the ball. Like I mentioned at the start, I think it's our counter press that will be really important. For those of you who weren't here early, I'm just going to throw the lineups along the bottom. Just there, Bournemouth pressed quite well. Awuni received the ball in his own half, but passed it out of play. So Kelly's now got a throw on the left-hand side. I'll give you a clock update in a second once we start getting into things a little bit further. Neat back heel from Solanke, and Clive manages to win a throw. I've been out of doing these watch-alongs for a while, so I might not be. You might not find me totally in the groove of all the talking, but I'll try and give you as much as I can, stats and opinions-wise. Solanke does well there to win a throw. Frustrating with Unal not getting his visa yet. Bournemouth have not got a good track record with getting visas for people coming from Spain. Clive gets into the box but loses it. Good counter press there from Senesi, wins the ball back. Christie gets the ball to Clive somehow. Clive can't get past his man, but Senesi still on the ball and gets it to Semenyo with a bit of space on the right. Overlap from Smith. Semenyo cuts inside. Christie gets it and shoots wide, but it does come off a Forest player. First shot in anger there, and it's 2 minutes on the clock now. So I'm at 2 minutes. Not 100% sure about that deflection, but referee will have had a better angle than that replay did. First corner of the match, in swinger from Christie, but he plays it short to Cook, who hits it back to Smith, who's going to put the ball into the box, and it reaches Zabani, but he can't control it. But Sinistera wins it back from a loose pass on the left-hand side. He's being hustled by, I think that's Dominguez. Bournemouth now in possession. Lovely crossfield ball from Zabani to Sinistera. Just going up against Alanga and Williams there, but poor pass. More good counter-pressing, though. Sinistera right on Williams there. So Clive pushes up. Christie pushes up. All the way back to the goalkeeper, who has to shift it quickly to Tavares. Nice press there from Smith. Really all over them. Semenyo needs to get closer to Tavares, and he does put the ball out for a throw. I know it sounds stupid, but the more we can keep Forest in their half, obviously the better for us. Their real danger is those front four. So if we can force the back 6-7 to be the ones to play the ball a lot, then you'll get what just happened there. Omar Bamadeli under no pressure puts the ball out for a throw-in. I mean, he's a centre-back that apparently has sort of been quite good since breaking into the team, but you know, he's still not been long in the Prem. They brought him from Norwich in the summer. Ooh, that's a poor throw. We've already lost the ball. More good pressing. Semenyo on Tavares. And the ball had gone out before Smith put it out. I mentioned before the start of the match, I do think Semenyo against Tavares is a really good battle for us. Sinistera against Williams will be interesting. And the one for them that they'll be looking at is Alanga going up against... with maybe Alanga going up against Smith, but probably the other side with Hudson-Odoi again. Sorry, it's Alanga going up against Kelly. That want to be an interesting foot race, but Kelly's win the physicality there. On the other side, you've got Hudson-Odoi versus Smith. That's a little bit worrying, but he's not in great form, I don't think, Hudson-Odoi, so we might be okay in that one. Win the corner again. Lovely ball over the top from Kelly, but Cook is about to take this one. Another in-swinger, this time from the left-hand side. And flicked in, and it's goal! It's already a goal! I think that's Clivert. I'm not sure if that's an own goal or if it's Sinistera. I thought that came off a Forest player, but no, I think Sinistera is getting the credit. But Clivert might have put that in at the back post. It's one of the two, but Bournemouth are 1-0 up already. And that's definitely that was a really easy start as well. Cook with the in-swinger. Yeah, Sinistera with the flick. And I think that's in before Clivert touches it. That's going in before Clivert touches it. But that's... I think... I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one. I think it's Sinistera. I think Sinistera gets that one. Sinisvert. But yeah, goal. Great stuff, guys. But Hudson-Odoi immediately on the attack for Forest, and yeah, good take there from Neto. Yep, lovely start for the Cherries. David, you think it's Clivert? It's difficult to tell from the angles that I've seen. It's difficult to tell. I think Clivert touches that after it goes over the line, but honestly, no idea. Good pressure from Solanke, forces Sells to hit that long. It goes over Kelly. He should get there before Morgan Gibbs-White, and he does. It's a very close one. It's very close, David. It really we'll have to wait for the dubious goals panel to sort that one out. Hello, AFC BOURNEMOUTH Germany. Hope you're enjoying the game. Hope everything's going well over that side for you. Nice for instance, was for it from corner or a stream pause. Oh no, it wasn't. Nah, it was a flick on from Sinistera, which he's done a few times already. Sinistera's got a decent leap on him. He's very useful at corners and getting that near post flick, but it matters. You need the good delivery, and Cook, really good delivery for Cook. My totally ridiculous. Right, yeah, fair enough. It's former Germany. TV shows Clivert, Gene. Yep, I think we'll have to wait and see. Oh, speaking of which, good tackle there from Sinistera. Gets the ball to Clivert, who's being handled a bit by Williams, but he manages to get the ball to Sinistera somehow. He's in the box. He's being handled a lot by Yates there, but nothing given. More good pressing, and we win the ball back again. Good turn from Clivert, gets around Williams. I love this counter pressing, guys. I told you, I love it. Christie doing really good work there. Gets the ball to just about to Sinistera. Yep, he keeps it in. Back to Clivert, who goes back to Kelly. A few poor touches from Christie. He's kind of got away with it, but yes, a few poor touches from Christie. Kelly tries an eye of a needle pass and it doesn't work. And I don't know what Clivert's doing there. Clivert just bundles in. So Sinistera flicks it. And yeah, that is. And actually, as I thought, because I thought that wasn't a Sinistera flick. I thought that was a Forest flick because it flicks off Sinistera's head and then hits the back of Nico Williams. So in fantasy, I'm not even sure if Sinistera will get the assist on that one. But that is Clivert's goal. David shows, confirmed, balls on the line. Gene, balls on the line. So Clivert has absolutely stolen that from Sinistera. He comes back in the squad and scores immediately. He comes back in the starting 11 and scores immediately. It's always great when that happens. A lovely touch from Lewis Cook there. A nice ball over the top from Kelly for Solanke to chase. The keeper has... Well, yeah. I mean, that is decisive. Keeper's flown out of the traps to make sure he clears that. And that was about 5 yards outside the box. But yeah, just over 5 minutes. It took, well, no, slightly under 5 minutes for Bournemouth to score the first goal because it was in the 5th minute. We've had all the ball. Forest have only got forward once with a cross that went straight to the keeper, so it's gone well so far. Semenyo doing some nice flicks and tricks. Gets it to Christie, puts it across to Sinistera, who's going to wait for the overlap from Kelly. Doesn't use it, goes to Clivert. Clivert shoots, it deflects, but nothing. Solanke's ended up on the floor, but nothing will come from that, fairly certain. Clivert just waited a bit too long. Clivert's got a knack of waiting too long to shoot, doesn't he? Ben saying, seems content. Commentators and pundits have finally this season understood hold the ball over the whole of the line. Yep, seems like that. Forest are now pushing forward with a really nice ball through to Awonyi, who shoots but slips, thankfully, and Neto claims it. There's the worry. You've got to be careful there. Awonyi ended up with a little bit too much room in between Zabani and Smith. Hello, Sean. Thanks for joining us from Mexico at 7 a.m. Ouch. Well, I mean, it's Sunday morning at least. But thank you for joining us. Always nice to see a new name. I don't see your face, but a new name in the chat. Yes, as Ben was saying, pundits have figured out whole of the ball and all that jazz. But I do think that there's been a weird one. People talking about whether the odd you hear now and again people, and it might be a manager, might be a pundit, mentioning that having some debate as to whether if you take a shot and it hits the post, is that on target? I mean, the answer is no, it's not, because your target is inside the frame of the goal. It's not the frame of the goal. I think it was Roy Hodgson a season or so back talking about that for whatever reason. Anyway, Bournemouth got a corner, another one. I think Zabani ended up on the deck there, but headed out very easily by Forest. Christie plays it back out to Cook on the left-hand side, who wants to cross again, which he does. Cleared easily. More good pressing from Zabani, but is a foul on Morgan Gibbs-White. Sorry, Sean. It's been months since I've done one of these. The names aren't in my head. I'm sorry, Sean. Apologies if you've been in several times. It's been a while for me, so really sorry about that. Hello, DC in Washington. Thank you for coming on recent. Thank you for coming on again. David Senesi's long calling ball in space is such a weapon. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, it's not just him, but Kelly has done that as well. Luckily, not a question of yeah, absolutely. Forrester just had a little bit of space in a little bit of time in our own third. Hudson-Odoi on the left-hand side plays a ball inside, but just misses Tavares. Cook gets it to Semenyo, who is tackled by Tavares. Oh, he's got Nuno on his back. He's going to be confusing him and the manager. David, a shot hitting the post has not got, but a shot going just wide that is tipped around the post or held by the keeper is a shot on target. That's true. It's treated as a shot on target because the keeper had to save it, which he didn't. But yeah, it's just if a keeper saves it, they'll treat it as a shot on target, which is weird. Dan, when am I watching the game? I'm watching it right now. Another curling ball over the top. Solanke's battling well, but Murillo gets the ball forward, and they've reworked it out to Dominguez. More good pressing, though. Yep, Solanke there sort of went to go, but stopped because he realizes it's not the right position yet. Although, let's see. Yeah, Forrest worked that relatively well. Nico Williams tries to play the ball down the line, and just in a small tussle between Kelly and Elanga. Elanga slips over, nothing given, quite correctly, I think. I've just hit 14. I'm 14 minutes and 5 seconds is where I am on mine. Lovely crossfield ball. That's a Barney again. Getting to Sinistero, who cuts inside, might shoot, but no, gets it to Cliver, who gets clipped, but doesn't fall down naturally, and the ref doesn't give it. And the ref has quite rightly played advantage before giving a foul on Elanga there. That's good refereeing. I'll give you another time check when we hit 15. Easy pass around there. So hitting 15 minutes now. So that's 15. Oh, lovely interception there from Christie. Looking up, but doesn't quite have the options to go, but goes back to Cook, who passes it back to Christie, who's surrounded by two players and loses it. That was unnecessary there. Ball's played first time through to a 1-1 up against Senesi. Senesi goes for the tackle and misses. Zabani tries to cover. Thankfully, it's a terrible, terrible shot from Awani. That was unnecessary from Christie and Cook. Cook did not have to play that back to Christie when he was under pressure with no options. It's a little bit silly there, I would say, with Christie couldn't find a pass forward, so he went back to Cook. And Cook, rather than looking to spread the play, immediately passes it back to Christie, who we already knows can't pass it forward. Christie then loses the ball under pressure from two players, and we are lucky not to concede there. Well, that's a foul there from Tavares on Semenya. Dan, my score prediction was 3-2 to the Cherries. I think that I don't see us keeping a clean sheet. I see you've got too much talent going forward, but I don't think your defense is very good. So I don't know what your keeper's like. So I'm going for another 3-2. If you want to watch my German team at the same time, the first half took 60 minutes because the fans threw tennis balls. Oh, that one again. Thank God. I only couldn't believe his luck and forgot to shoot. Yeah, absolutely. But he's very good. If you want to go for 3-1. Yeah, you're not the only one to go for a 3-1 there. But I don't think the Forest fans will be surprised that Bournemouth fans are confident we'll get a result. Oh, win the ball back nicely. Semenyo takes a shot from long distance, deflects. Keeper goes to save because he doesn't know where it's going, but it was always flying wide after the deflection. I would have liked to see good pressing there from Kluivert, but I would like to have seen Semenyo maybe try to put that ball through to Sinistera because he definitely had the chance to there. But he just looked up and shot, and Semenyo doesn't mind a shot on his left foot. Scored against Burnley with his left. Right, Cook with the in-swinger again. Almost got the flick on. Oh, that drops and falls through the legs of Senesi. Christie hooks it back in with his head, headed out again. Then Sinistera tries to flick it in, but nothing. Flicked on and backwards. Then well done to get the ball to Kelly, who isn't in the box, which is interesting to see. Goes back to Neto, who tries a longer pass. Flicked on by Cook, but a poor pass from Forest gives it to Christie, and Sinistera is one-on-one with Nico Williams on the left-hand side. Tries to take him forward for pace. Does so. Well done. Puts it back to Kluivert, who can't take a decent first touch. I think that was good. I think that was decent positioning from Dominguez, but Kluivert could have done better with that. That was a really good cross from Kluivert. That's a foul. He's just gone straight into the back of Christie, and we've really poor from Dominguez, and Bournemouth now have a free kick 30 yards out. Dan, keeper is decent reactions, but honestly, one of the worst records in the league. That's something that Wolverine from Forest Fan TV told me. Wolvie said that I think statistically he's like the worst keeper in the league for goals conceded, or it's either save percentage or it's XG versus expected goals, conceded versus expected, or something like that. He's one of the worst in Ligue 1, so it's a really weird one to bring him in for 8 million, which is not a lot of money, but it's like something considering your financial position at the moment. Can't imagine us not scoring the entire fit in our attack, but I can't see us winning 2-1 or 1-1. Yeah, that's how I was with our game against West Ham, and that ended up 1-1. Cross comes in from Cook to the back post, tries a flick, but got for Tavares down to Smith, who hits it to Semenyo, who's one-on-one with Tavares. Good tackle by Tavares. And it's a Bournemouth throw. No Bournemouth players here supporting Smith, but does throw it to Semenyo, who loses the ball quickly to Hudson-Odoi, but Smith wins it back immediately. Semenyo's got to cross it. He tries to, and it goes out for a corner. Here's the thing, like, that really shouldn't have happened. Bournemouth had a throw 10 yards out on the right-hand side. The only player that was near Smith was Semenyo. Semenyo immediately loses the ball, but we counter-press so well and effectively. Smith wins it back. Semenyo pounces. He tries the cross, goes for a corner. We've had 5 corners in 20 minutes. Christie with the in-swinger from this right-hand side. Too low. Immediately cleared. Worst corner of the lot so far. But it goes to Kelly, who tries to get it to Christie, who is down. That's not a good sign. Christie doesn't go down very easily. He doesn't stay down easily, that's for certain. Ben, 8 minutes doesn't seem a lot, but I guess when you multiply it by almost 70 players. Like, well, I mean, like I said, the thing is they brought Vlachodimos in the summer for 4 million, just under ish, from Benfica, and he was a highly rated keeper, and I think he's pretty good. And Matt Turner's been making a load of mistakes, so I don't know why you don't play him. And then you've just spent another 8 million on another keeper. You brought one in the summer for 4, along with Turner, who came in for a chunk as well. 2 keepers in the summer. You've only played one of them. The other one's barely played. The one you have played has been making loads of mistakes. So rather than pick the other keeper that you brought in, you just pay another 8 million for another keeper. And this is what I don't get about Forest's finances. And it's the thing that I think it was obvious to most people that were looking at the number of players they were bringing in that surely this is going to bite them in the backside at some point. And it turns out it may well do. We won't know until April. But you do have to try and improve players or like use the ones you've got. You can't spend your way out of every situation, which is what Forest owner just seems to want to do. Oi, that was poor from Senesi. That I'm worried here. This might be a red. No, the referee's got a yellow out, but that will be reviewed. So Senesi was tangling with Morgan Gibbs-White. He pushed out of. He moved out of that confrontation with Hudson with Morgan Gibbs-White. He looks like he might have injured himself. I'm fairly certain he slipped, but he goes in, slides with a bad tackle. I think Senesi's fine now, but he slides into Hudson-Odoi. It's a yellow at the moment. I think he slipped and he might get away with it, but this could be overturned to a red card. No, it's not. It's definitely not a red. No, it's the correct decision. He to be fair, because he slips, his foot isn't outstretched. He goes in with his knee. No way that's a red card, but it's not a good tackle. And you don't want to see your centre back doing that in the completely wrong position. Sendai, I'm assuming that's also correct. Has messed you there. Senesi's lucky boy. Yeah, a little bit. Hate seeing NTCs. Yeah, me too, but you get it. Sometimes. Would love to see Thomas Muller at Bournemouth. Doesn't play as often by anyway. That'd be cool, but I don't think he fits. I don't think he fits. Assistant ref has just given a foul or a throw-in. I'm not sure. He couldn't play in that 10 role for us. He won't have the energy anymore. It'd be cool. Heck, I remember when I was playing FIFA 08. I think I remember I played a season started as Bournemouth in League 2, and when I hit the Championship after 2 seasons, Bastian Schweinsteiger was available on a free, and back then there was no the player doesn't want to move to this level. You could just get him, so I did. I had Bastian Schweinsteiger in the Championship for Bournemouth back in those days. Ball in, well won by Murillo, sort of flicked on, and brilliant save from Neto. Yates almost nicked in there. Not dealt with very well. Murillo won the flick on, won the header at the back post far too easily against Smith here. And then I do wonder whether Yates would have been offside. I'd need to see that again. Oh, there was a handball in there as well. Yeah. Sinisterra on the ball does very nicely, tries to chip the ball into Solanke, but Solanke is moved into the wrong area. That's one for the fans. Has Bournemouth ever had a German player? Not since I've been following them as I am now. for the last sort of decade or so. I don't remember any German players, but might have had one back in the day. I don't know whether any fans can corroborate that, but I don't think so. Bournemouth with the ball at the back. Cook being hounded by Yates. He looked like he might have been fouled, but nothing was going to be forthcoming. Neto clears long. And Christie has the ball. It was nice. Oh, lovely bit of play from Christie. Nice to see that he's up and playing. He does look like he's hobbling a little bit, though. Sinistera plays the ball in behind to Kelly, who's got to cross it back, and not a good enough cross. That needed better cutback than that. But yeah, I'd be surprised if Christie is on the pitch too much longer. He does look like he's struggling. I'm just looking at AFC Bournemouth Germany. Just found a website with old players, but let me just have a look at the game instead, because Forest were pushing forward, but a good interception from Christie from a Tavares pass. Christie does really look like he's struggling still, but he's somehow kept the ball, but then lost it. Morgan Gibbs-White on the ball, looking for options, plays the ball to Hudson-Odoi, but well intercepted by Smith. He hits the ball up to Solanke, who tries to keep hold of the ball, but can't. The ball's still in play. Dominguez pushes forward, gets it to Gibbs-White. Now it's with Williams and Elanga up against two. Elanga trying to come inside. He does, crosses it, but not a very good cross. Cook intercepts, and Semenyo hammers it clear. Now it's a bit of a race between Murillo and Solanke. Solanke makes it difficult for Murillo, and nothing given. That was a 50-50 tussle, I think, but Solanke is disappointed nothing was given. Tavares has got past Semenyo too easily. He's pushing forward. Great interception from Cook, but it is a corner. Nottingham Forest first corner. Yeah, I saw that one as well. Jack Wadham. So that's one, but obviously not a first teamer. Impressed with the ref so far, I have to say. Second ever Premier League game for this ref as the first female ref in the Prem. I need to look up her name because otherwise I'll just keep calling her ref or female ref, and I feel that's hard. Corner from Morgan Gibbs-White, flicked across, well cleared by Zabani over the bar for another corner. One more corner coming in from Forest. Morgan Gibbs-White again from the left-hand side with an in-swinger. Not a good delivery again. Kelly clears it. Kelly was going up against a Forest player who ended up throwing himself to the deck, but I would be very surprised if anything is given for that. Forest have the ball at the back. "29 minutes on the clock. Ball is with the New Forest keeper, who hits it long, tries to find a Wanyi, who does flick it on, but Kelly beats Elanga in that foot race, and he will clip that up top for one of our attackers to get onto it, and Solanke forces a throw-in from Omobamidele. Now Solanke on the ball on the left-hand side. We want him in the box, really. He could have passed to Smith, but turns back and plays a hospital pass to Sinistera, who gets intercepted. Really silly there from Solanke. but no counter-attack forms. Morgan Gibbs-White still has the ball in his own half. Now it's Dominguez. Now it's Morgan Gibbs-White. No, Uganda was a German colony, if you want Germany. I trust Al Murray on that one. Bournemouth have counter-attacked well. Sinistero on the ball. He shoots from range. It deflects, and it's another corner. Blimey. I'm fairly certain that's correct, Ben. I'm fairly certain that was in the after the war. Anyway, politics aside, Bournemouth with another corner. Christie with an in-swinger, a little bit better than his last one, but still barely gets past the first man. Not very good from that side, Christie, unfortunately, but he may well be a little bit injured, so we'll give him some benefit of the doubt, but would prefer another player to be taking those corners if that's the case. Bournemouth have all the defenders back now, and Christie on the ball tries a long ball, but he's hit it. He's with it way too flat. Yeah, so it was. I trusted Al Murray on that one. I think he got his countries the wrong way around. When if anyone has seen the Al Murray's skit on Britain has defeated every country at war in the world, he calls a Uganda used to be a German colony. So I think he blagged that one. I trusted him too much. Lovely ball up from Kelly, and Cliver tries to keep the ball, falls over. The referee doesn't give anything. Good battle with Williams there, but he just falls over, so nothing was given. Senesi pushing forward, gets the ball to Christie, who tries to get it to Semenyo, but it's a terrible hook. But Semenyo works well to come back and win the ball back off Tavares. Another long ball from Kelly over the top. Those curling balls over the top of the fullbacks. We go from time after time after time, and we are winning throw-ins off them all of the time. It's such an easy way for us to get up the pitch, and Forest are just not dealing with it at all. It's a really easy way for us to get up the pitch. Kelly with another throw. A little bit of passing around at the back there. Didn't work out for Bournemouth, so Forest have a throw. Level with the penalty area. Hook forward from Senesi. Solanke gets the ball to Semenyo, who's pushing forward, being dragged back, but he wants to shoot, and he should have passed to Smith. Semenyo being a little bit too selfish again. He had a really easy overlap pass to Smith, and he didn't play it. Kelly does really well. Kelly is absolutely dominating that battle with Alanga. That was one of the interesting ones for me. But he's just absolutely dominating that battle. It's great to see, because Alanga is a dangerous player. That's a weird one there. Cliver has been frustrated at the referee for ages and has just got himself yellow carded because he wants a throw. He wants a foul because he's been He's barely being held by Yates. He goes. That's really annoying because Alanga's just bought that yellow for Cliver. Clivert's barely being held by Yates, but he tries to just pull. I don't even think that's a foul. Yates is barely touching him. He just stands there wanting a free kick. He gets the free kick, but he's worried he's not going to get it, so he jumps towards Alanga, but then just clips Alanga's big toe, and a yellow card is given to him because Alanga goes down. Cook very awkward there, but does pull off a brilliant sliding tackle to win the ball off a 1-year, and suddenly we're countering. Semenyo on the right hand side cuts inside again and loses it. Christie gets it back, but then a wonderful tackle by Dominguez. Semenyo's got to learn a flipping trick or two because it's very frustrating that he constantly comes inside, never passes it to Smith. And while it worked out the first few times, he keeps giving it away now. And Smith is the easy pass. Thank you for your support, Railway Modeler. I try and be as fair as possible. I say it how I see it. Really silly. Well, I say silly. It's barely anything from Cliver in that, but it's a foul. I mean, Kelly slips and ends up on the deck, so it's a good thing the foul was given because we might have been that would have been an awkward countering position there. Right, put some thoughts down as to how the match has gone so far, because we tend not to have too much time to talk about it much in halftime, because I'll keep blabbering. So, what are people thinking? How for those of you that are able to see the match, you got oh, that's an interesting one as well. The Forest Fan TV previews we were talking about was seeing whether Rayner would play. I was convinced Rayner wouldn't start. They're showing him on camera now. He'll come on and maybe do something, but he's barely played. I don't think he's going to have much of an impact for a bit. Gene, we're being outplayed. I don't know what game you're watching, Gene. We're not being outplayed. It's even because both teams have been poor for the last 10 minutes, but we were by far the better team for the first 25. Outplayed is going way too far on that, Gene, for me. Way too far. Let me just have a look on. There was a period where they were better than us for sort of like a 5-minute spellish, but we're not being outplayed. Corner comes in for Forest, outswinger. Oh, that could have been awkward. That could have been a little awkward, but no. Well defended in the end. Tavares with the cross. Decent ball, but easily claimed from the keeper, who I'm looking for a quick counter. Will he kick it? Will he throw it? Will he get it forward? He does go throw, and Sinistera is now in the Forest half, pushing forward. He's up against Yates and Williams. Yates just about helps out Williams there. He has to go backwards because he doesn't have the support. Shame, but at least he kept hold of the ball. He does relatively well there. That's an interesting call. Yeah, Tavares just nudges Semenyo when he's in the air and a foul is given. Ben, I thought Uncle Bill would be trying to get Gio. I'm glad we didn't as well. Stockton those places in the last this season hasn't been great. Yeah, well, the thing is, he's not been favoured. He's not. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure that's a foul. Oh, it's offside. Sorry, it wasn't. It wasn't a foul. It was an offside. So Forest still have the ball. Tavares puts it up to a 1-year. 1-year going up against Sabani there. Now it's Hudson-Odoi against Smith. This is an interesting one. First time he goes around. Decent cross, well defended by Kelly, and flicked further clear by Christie. And Semenyo clears the ball out for a throw. Really good defending there from Kelly. Good tackle from Smith, and that's a Bournemouth throw. Yeah, Hudson-Odoi hasn't done much so far, thankfully. That was the first time Hudson-Odoi had been able to go one-on-one against Smith. Put in a half-decent cross, but he's not taking him on, which I find a bit odd. I do think if I was the Forest manager, I'd be telling Hudson-Odoi, I'd be trying to get Hudson-Odoi one-on-one with Smith in open space more frequently, because you know Smith is decent, but he's not as good a defender as he used to be, particularly one-on-one. He gets turned inside out too easily. So it's a bit weird that they haven't tried to manufacture more space for Hudson-Odoi on that left-hand side. What with Ben? We were talking about Gio Reyna. Yeah, he's just not playing. He's not favoured. He's played 300 minutes in the last season and a half, I think. Awoniyi has just been given a foul against him. I think Zabarnyi got an elbow. He's gone down a bit holding his nose, and that's why the ref has given a foul against Awoniyi. But that's a 50-50. And then Awoniyi accidentally slaps Zabarnyi in the face and he goes down, so the referee gives a foul, which is, I think, fair. It's kind of as you would imagine. That battle, as I mentioned to Wolvie, is going to be Zabarnyi against Awoniyi, and Zabarnyi has done well against the majority of centre backs he's come up with, but the really physical ones he has struggled with occasionally. He struggled with Valise against Fulham, and I think he had issues with. Well, I think he very much had issues with Nunez against Liverpool. So I expect him to have a tough time against Awoniyi, but at the moment he's doing pretty well. Bit of head tennis in the middle of the park there between the Bournemouth and Forest players. Gibbs White ends up with the ball. He gets caught by Cook, and that is a foul. Let's see. As expected, but the Cherries got the goal earlier than expected. Forest will get stronger. Yeah, although I mean, it's a pretty even game. And after the first sort of 15 to 20 minutes, it's been relatively even. No team has really looked like they're going to score for the last 20 minutes. It's not been a great game. It's not. Bournemouth have pressed well at times, but Forest have grown into the game. They started way too slowly. They were not ready to get involved in the game as much as Bournemouth were. Bournemouth were on it from the start, which was great to see. But it's not been a very good game, quality-wise. That's a lovely interception there from Sinistera, who tries to play the ball to Kluivert, but doesn't make it out. Kelly wins a nick there, but now the attack is working. Elanga gets the ball to Dominguez, Yates, who shoots, but it's tight angle. It's not a good strike. But I didn't like the number 3 faking to jump and running under as many because he's taking that. Yeah, it was a light one, and Semenyo fell to the ground. Like, yeah, Semenyo play acted that one, and if I think players need to be more careful about when other players jump, but Tavares didn't really do very much there at all. Right, now Sinistera just outside the box, plays it to Kluivert. Kluivert tries to cut it back, gets it to Sinistera, who plays it to Kluivert again, who flicks it in, doesn't reach Semenyo. Cook wins the ball and then loses it, tries a flick that doesn't come off. That was a bit silly there from Cook. Now he's got to get back, which he is. There's Christie trying to catch up with Tavares, and you've got Hudson-Odoi now going up against Smith on the left-hand side, who stands him up. Smith's backing off too easily. Got to stop that cross. Ball comes back to Dominguez in the middle. Plays back to Tavares, who's going to cross, but it goes over everyone, and lovely chest back from Kelly. It's not the first time he's done that in the last week. Although the weird one there was Tavares crossed the ball in. I thought it was a half decent cross, but only Awoniyi was in the box. I keep saying Awoniyi and Awoniyi. I will interchange that. It's one of the two. I know it is, or at least I'm confident it is, but I think Kluivert needs to take a chill pill. I'm a little bit worried about how sort of pissed off he's getting, because he's already on a yellow that he didn't need to get. And he keeps getting involved in tussles. Just small things. But if he keeps doing that, he's going to get another yellow anytime soon. Top of the table clash between Bournemouth and Exeter women still 0-0. All right. Oh, yeah, of course they're playing today, aren't they? Yeah, I mean, God, I hope they get promoted this time around. Because they missed out. They missed out on. I think they came second last season. They need to get up. They need to get another division up to keep progressing. Right, free kick from Forest. Morgan Gibbs White from 50 yards out. Or 40 yards out, rather. Oh, the shout for handball against Semenyo there, maybe. Hudson-Odoi gets in and takes a shot, and it's a great goal. That's a really good goal. Very avoidable. Really avoidable. Fantastic finish. Keeper can't do anything about that. Neto's stranded, but we should not have allowed. Yeah, Gene, we're not. There's a difference between scoring from a bit of one individual quality and getting outplayed. There's a massive difference, Gene. That is not being outplayed. That is poor defending. So you got Christie in there. Then Christie tries to nick it past. Yeah, just like there's three players that can do something about that. Christie shouldn't be trying to nutmeg. Smith gives that up far too easily. Zabani gets done by a dummy. And that's a really good finish. That's a really good finish from Hudson-Odoi. The keeper can't do anything about that. But we had a lot of chances to clear that. That is terrible defending. And that was in the 46th minute. It's not what, Gene? It was a very good finish. I'm not sure what you're arguing against me on here. Semenyo, it was a really good finish. It starts outside the post and comes in. It's a very good finish. Semenyo is now down injured. The 3 minutes of added time have finally been called. I didn't put the banner back up. Did I change that? Yes, I did. 1-1. I told you Hudson-Odoi against Smith would be the interesting one. And in the end, it turns out that while Smith kind of let it down a bit, it's Christie should do better. Smith should do better. Zabani should do better. The keeper can't do anything about that. Now it's Semenyo down. I mean, like I said, I expected Forest to score. But to concede then, that's a bit of a kick. That's a bit of a killer. Yeah, so that's terrible defending. It's not about getting outplayed. They're not doing the right thing in that individual moment. Here's the difference for me, Gene. Being outplayed requires a 5, 10, 15, 20-minute spell when the other team is very clearly superior to the other. We outplayed Forest in the first 15 minutes and we got a goal, 15 to 20 minutes. The rest of those next 20 minutes, it has been back and forth. Neither team has looked like scoring at all. Bournemouth haven't created a single decent chance. Forest haven't created a single decent chance for 20 minutes. That's not being outplayed. That's an even game with very little quality. This was the one big moment of quality when one shot completely does the keeper and is unstoppable. However, as you quite rightly put, and as I have stated, 3 people could have done something better. That's not being outplayed because that is one's period of 5 seconds. It is 3 players that do not do their job in defending properly. That's not being outplayed. That's terrible defending. After that rant, that's a nice way of putting it. I'll take that. After that, Semenyo goes off. The 3 minutes of added time are up, but a minute of that was celebrations and Semenyo being injured. I mean, you could see Semenyo coming off. You could long ball into the box, punched clear by the keeper. You could see Semenyo coming off if he's injured. I could see Christie coming off because he got that knock and he's not looked quite right since. But there might be about 30 seconds left of this game. We're just about to hit 49 minutes. 30 seconds left of the half, rather. Solanke keeps the ball and wins a throw. Don't know why he's keeping the ball there. Just give it to Smith and run into the box. Yeah, Semenyo, I don't expect to see Semenyo out in the second half. Solanke trying to get it past 3 players, doesn't manage to do it. And Smith gets intercepts and it's a Forest throw right in the corner. Bournemouth women leading against Exeter. Great news. Yay for the ladies. Absolutely. I don't know how the game's still playing at the moment. The goal went in basically on 46 minutes. We're just about to hit 50. Surely the half is over. Forest have a throw that they've. Oh, it's been intercepted by Sinistera. Can he get the ball and keep going? Oh no, it just goes through to the keeper. Terrible pass by Tavares. Sinistera almost nicks in there. Really silly by Tavares. That was very close to Sinistera almost nicking us a goal right at the end there. I don't know where the referee is getting all this extra time from. I don't know where the referee's getting all this extra time from. It's 3 added minutes. The goal was scored on basically 46 minutes. There was 2 minutes for celebrations and injuries. So we should be finishing at 50. And we're at 50 minutes and 45 seconds, and Forest have now got a free kick they're going to pump into the box. And now it's a Forest, a very similar spot of which they scored from. Now Forest have got a corner because 2 of our Bournemouth players just couldn't communicate. Semenyo's trying to make up for his mistake earlier. Quick corner taken quickly. Morgan Gibbs White hooks it in. It's going long. It's flicked out by Semenyo, and the ref has finally blown the halftime whistle. A minute and a half too late, and Semenyo is not coming out for the second half. Right. After a good start, a frustrating next 20, and then a stupid goal to concede, we are half-time. We are at half-time. We are at half-time, and it's 1-1. I really can't say Forest have deserved that equaliser. That's the only chance of... That's basically the only chance of any note they've made. There was the Yates shot, but yeah, not a lot that Forest have managed to produce, really. And yet it's 1-1. Forest were the team that were on top a little bit for the last 15, 20 minutes, but not much. So yeah, pretty frustrating. I mean, it's that Yates. I think it's the Yates shot. That is the only one that is of any note. I'm looking on. Actually, let me just bring this up. I'll have us a quick break shortly, but I'm just having a look at. There we go. So here, let me bring that down. So this is the Forest shot map so far. You've got the goal from Hudson-Odoi, 0.03, very low chance shot, but it was well finished. Got a long range. Oh yeah, that was a Wanyi slip where he should have done something more with that, but that was on 11 minutes. That was all they did for the first 20. You've got another shot here that was straight down the middle from a slip, again 16th. That was early on. That only 2 pushes forward. Wanyi ends up with 2 shots that he slips on. This Yates shot he should have done better with, but it wasn't really anything impressive. And then this was the one where Yates is possibly offside, and he definitely handballed it in the build-up, so that wouldn't have been counted towards anything. So those are their 5 shots. I mean, these 2 were very poor attempts. This one he could have done better with. That one shouldn't count. And then this is the one that was their lowest chance shot they ended up scoring from. You compare that with Bournemouth, and we haven't really done that much either. There's the Sinistera flick on that leads to the Kluivert shot, which combined shouldn't really be 2 separate things there. Kluivert shot from range that gets blocked, which one of anything special. Christie gets a shot blocked. Semenyo with a shot blocked. Semenyo with a shot. That's Sinistera's face. Semenyo with a shot blocked, and Sinistera with a shot blocked. We've not done anything much either. We've scored and then not produced anything. Very frustrating. We looked the better side for the first 15, but this is just reminding me we didn't really produce very much in terms of shots. I still don't agree with Jean's outplaying point, but I know where she's coming from in terms of, like, our keeper has been the one that's had to make saves. There haven't been anything special. Every save has been straight. Every single save that Neto's had to make has been straight at him. Neto's not had to do anything special apart from pick the ball out of the net. But yeah, it's a weird one. Right. Okay. Time for a quick break. I'll be back shortly. Yeah, got some improving to do in the second half, without a doubt. It's not been a great quality game from either team, but it's 1-1, and we've got 45 minutes to put it right. So see you shortly. There we go. Right. Yep, I am on. Right, okay, welcome back, everyone. 1-1. Shouldn't be too long, hopefully, before the second half starts. But we had a little look at the shots earlier. And in terms of stats-wise, let's just see if I can just bring this up on... so for score... So expected goals were slightly ahead, although a lot of that comes from basically just having a tap in, because we haven't done much else other than that. Ball possession has actually been more to Forest, which is interesting. We've had more shots. They've had more shots on target. We've had more corners, offsides, fouls, yellow cards. Some of those yellow cards are worrying. They've had more free kicks. We've had the one big chance, which we converted, and they've had a counter-attack shot. But if you look at that, we've had to make 4 saves. Neto's has to make 4 saves. And their keeper hasn't had to make any because every shot other than the one we scored has been blocked. It's to be fair, it's mostly quite even. If we look at the details, momentum map, we had the better of the most of it, and then it sort of came more into Forest's favour, and then obviously the score right in the end. But this right here is pretty negligible in terms of ups and downs in that last period. This was where they did sort of take a bit more of a hold of the game. But it really has ebbed and flowed between both, which is kind of what you'd expect from a relatively even game, or relatively evenly matched teams, I would say. But still, there's a lot of improving to do. It's not been great. For Bournemouth, you can see Senesi is taking a lot more touches further up pitch. Zabani is dealing with a 1-year quite well, I would say. Smith actually getting forward more than Kelly. But this here, Solanke, this is really frustrating. This is absolutely bonkers. And this is not the Solanke of this season. This is the Solanke of last season. Where are Solanke's touches in the middle? And if I was Iraola and I had this data, I'd be looking at the rest of the team just going, why does Solanke have to come out wide to get his touches? Why are we not getting Solanke the ball in the middle of the box? Solanke himself needs to stay more central because this touch map is terrible from Solanke. It is not the Solanke of this season. He's never going to score in these positions. Semenyo is probably coming off, but I wanted to see him achieve more when coming inside here, but he's probably coming off. Liking Kluivert's influence, but maybe a little bit too left-sided focused. He needs to come inside a little bit more. And then Sinisterra has been probably arguably our man of the match so far, I would say. Arguably our man of the match. I'd say Lewis Cookie's having a good game as well. Christie, that knock is a little bit worrying for me. But yeah, it just needs to improve so much. I don't think Forest have been that good either. I think the game generally has been really quite low quality. It's been rather poor for me all around. Particularly our defending for their goal. Let's just have a look at some comments here. Ben, difficult to think what to do. So many went down again after that last header. So would that be for Billing or for Scott? Well, if it's Semenyo, it'll be Tavernier. If he's on the bench, is he not on the bench? I'm like now you're making me doubt myself. Is Tavernier not on the bench? Yes, he is. Right, okay. Or Watara. It's Tavernier or Watara that would come on for a winger in Semenyo. Or you could see Kluivert pushed out to the right, but I think Kluivert does much better work down the middle. I would see Scott coming on. I could see Scott coming on for Christie, definitely. David, same as West Ham second half. A lot of attacking movement is just nothing that creates a clear cut or a shot of note. I missed a lot of the end of second half of West Ham, so I'm not entirely too sure how that one went. That doesn't surprise me a lot. Sai, hello. I think you're saying a lot of what I've been saying. Glad we got the goal early. Smith and Kelly. Well, it's Zabani and Kelly have been keeping Alanga and Awoniyi quiet, really. Been pretty even, though, with each team taking its turn for 10 minutes. Yeah, absolutely. Great equaliser from poor defending. Need Clive. Yeah, I mentioned that he needs to work. I'm worried about the tussles that he's getting involved in. I would expect to see Semenyo coming off as well. And you could definitely see Christie coming off for Scott. It doesn't really change too much for us as well if Christie comes off for Scott. They play that role pretty similarly. But yeah, you could see 3 subs being made. The only thing is, obviously, if Clivert comes off, that means we need to put, obviously, another attacker in that number 10 role, which you could see Scott being, but obviously we don't have Brooks, and Scott you brought on for Christie. So the only other player that you put on there is Billing, which I think would be a really good slot. It's just weird, the kind of headspace I'm in with Billing at the moment. Tavernier's coming on. So yeah, it'll be him on for Semenyo. Beav averages are based off viewers, so I don't know, we'll see. Railway Modeler. It seems to have been a slight advantage to Cherries, but need to be careful for us to get stronger as the game progresses. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. It's. I think Bournemouth also can do some good things in the second half of games as well. We spent enough time this season having to come back from bad positions in the second half. Let me just bring up the stat. I can try and bring up some figures to back this up. Timing. So here, so this is Forest and where they like to score their goals. So you can see that Forest tend to score more goals in the half an hour after the second half starts. So that's their best sort of a goal scoring period. But they also concede more goals in the 50 minutes after the second half than they do in any other period. Similarly in that second half. So I should expect to see a couple of goals in this period. Game, I think, has just kicked off. But I'm just showing this at the moment. Whereas for Bournemouth, let me just make sure that's ready. Whereas for Bournemouth, they actually also score more goals in the second half quite comfortably. They're dangerous throughout the second half, but they also concede more goals in the second half. So I should expect to see any betting people on there. I would probably put down that there'll be at least a couple goals in the second half. Both teams score and concede more in the second half. Yeah, Tav coming on. Tav Semenyo. I think Clivert just can't do as well on the wing. Clivert has shown even better work by combining with Solanke and Sinistera. So we'll see. But Morgan Gibbs White with a corner already in the second half. Cleared well. Falls to Nico Williams, who tries to get it back to Morgan Gibbs White, who comes inside to Hudson-Odoi. Goes to Williams. Hudson-Odoi plays it back to Tavares, who's going to shoot from 30 yards, and it goes almost out of the stadium. 30 yards, 40 yards. I'm not good with distances like that. Not that I know meters that well either, but yeah, very poor from Tavares there. It's a shame because I really do think that Semenyo was winning that battle against Tavares, and then he got too predictable. I wouldn't know because it only just gives Forest generally. But yeah, you do have a good point that obviously those stats do come with a grain of salt. But Christie has stayed on, as has Clivert. Bournemouth have the ball at the back with Senesi, who plays it long over the top again, looking for Sinistera, intercepted by Williams. At least Kelly is well and truly winning that battle with Elanga. Like Elanga's done nothing this game because Kelly's been all over him, just he's just got the pace to keep up with him, and physically he absolutely dominates him. It's very useful to have a strong, quick, aggressive centre back playing at left back. So we'll have to see what Tavernier does coming in off that right-hand side. Obviously, in this case, we've got Tavernier on the right, so he's coming in to shoot on his favoured left foot, just like Sinistera does. Still need to be getting Solanke in the game better. It's really quite frustrating at the moment how little Solanke is involved. Like, he presses well, he harries, he gets himself about, but he's not being given. He hasn't had a shot yet. To be fair, that's due to Omabamidele doing quite well with him. Zabani and Awani just clashed there and he stayed down, but he's back up again. He's a big lad. He'll be fine. That is the one thing that's been good to see is Zabani has been doing quite well against Awani. Lovely ball there from Zabani over to Sinistera, who comes inside, cuts back, goes to the byline, tries to get a corner, but can't. But the ball is cleared poorly and ends up with Cook heading it to Kelly, who puts it inside to Clivert just poor there from Clivert. But good tackle from Zabani. And then Tavernier tries to make it through, but it falls to Christie, who gets it back out to Sinistera. Going one-on-one with Williams, with backup from Yates, passes it through to Tavernier, who passes it behind Christie. But we get a foul for Tavernier getting clipped. Referee gave an advantage there for, I don't think, very much. Yeah, I don't think that's a free kick. I think that's very soft. I think that's very soft. Yates goes into the back of Tavernier a little bit, but no, not for me. I don't think that's a free kick. I think any Bournemouth fan looks at that, and if that was the other way around, and that was a Bournemouth player going into the back, going sort of close to a Nottingham Forest player like that, and a free kick was given, you'd be very annoyed. I think that was very, very soft. But Bournemouth do have a free kick in which they can shoot from. We've got Alanga taking the role as the draft excluder. 3 big lads in the wall, but it's Clivert and Tavernier over this one. I'd expect Tavernier to be shooting. He tends to be the free kick guy. But Clivert is shooting and he gets a corner. It flicks off the head of Awani. This is the one thing I'm looking forward to as well with Unal, when Enes Unal comes in. If you look up some of his goals, Unal gets such great whip on the ball. He's got a ridiculous technique to really put bend on strikes, which I'm really looking forward to seeing if he comes on and starts taking some direct free kicks, because he was, I did quite like what I saw of Unal. I think that's a really good pickup, but that all depends on his injury. Corner coming in from Lewis Cook. Another good one flicked on by Sinistera, but not to anyone in particular. And now Forest do kind of have the chance to counter, and they are doing so. Morgan Gibbs-White has the ball now, tries to go forward, but Senesi forces him sideways. Now Nico Williams on the ball. And the counter's been stopped dead, which is good. But Forest do still have the ball. Bournemouth are in position, though. Forest still comfortable with the ball. Great work from Zabani there, winning the ball back off Morgan Gibbs-White in their half. Now played forward to Solanke, but well tracked by Murillo. Very good defending there from the young Brazilian. That ball's got to have gone out. Yep, it's a Bournemouth throw. Really good work from Zabani. It's normally Senesi that does that job. So it's interesting to see Zabani just burst forward and stick with the number 10 because normally it's not. Normally it's Senesi that does that, but really good work there from Zabani. Love to see that. Nice through ball from Sinistera, but Murillo's had a really good game, to be fair. Murillo and Omobamidele have both had a really good game. Now Kelly on the ball. He's trying to get it back to Sinistera, just about manages to. Sinistera gets it to Cliver, who immediately loses the ball, and that could be a second yellow for Cliver if he's unlucky. I think Cliver's got to be taken off now. If Cliver isn't sent off, he's got to be taken off. So Cliver, I mean, he's lucky. He's very lucky he doesn't get sent off there. I think another referee sends him off. And I think the fact that Clivert's first yellow was kind of harsh because he just doesn't really touch Alanga. Maybe the referee's seen that at half time and just determined to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But I mean, he's put in another foul there. Clivert's got to be taken off now. Omin Bamidele has got a yellow card because he's shouted at the ref for too long. Or maybe did this. If Omin Bamidele's done this, then it's an automatic yellow. But Clivert's got to come off now. There's no ifs or buts here. Cliver is part of the press. He will foul players. You cannot keep doing what he's doing. He will get a yellow card and get himself sent off. And as the manager, you have Scott and Billing as very good options in the number 10. You cannot keep Cliver on now. Because to be honest, I think he probably should be off, as in like red carded by now. Because I think that foul that he just committed there for a poor touch, another player gets sent off for that. Another referee sends him off for that. Finally, Christie's coming off. I do think Christie should have been taken off at half time because I just don't think he's been effective enough. That knock has just not been good enough. He's not been as good. He's running about fine, but he's just not been the same player. He's coming off for Alex Scott, and Cliver, unsurprisingly, is coming off for Phil Billing. So this is a big chance for Billing. This is a really big chance for Billing. He has not been getting a lot of game time recently. He's been struggling for game time, and he's got 35 minutes to really prove a point. Because if he shows what he can do and he gets us a win here, or gets us a result, he would he'd really sort of put his name forward for starting the next game. But these are two changes that needed to happen, and hopefully we get the classic Billing Solanke link up. But yeah, Bournemouth have now made 3 changes, so we've got 2 subs left. Alex Scott and Lewis Cook should work quite nicely in the middle there, though. I do think that, frustratingly, I'm going to be getting Solanke pushing forward. He gets clipped by Omobamidele there, but nothing given. Billing helps win the ball back with Scott, though. Now the ball's with Tavernier, and he goes backwards, almost loses the ball, just about keeps it, still going, does get clipped. It's just so much that's almost worked there from Tavernier, but not quite. The frustrating thing for me now is I'm gonna get a bunch of comments from Forest fans now when I go on Beat the Drop next. They already think we pay off. They already think we pay off the refs because of the red card against Bolly. I think it's the free kick on Zamora last season they kind of weren't happy with, even though it was definitely a free kick. Or maybe some other offside decision or something. Oh, yeah, it was an offside decision, I think, in our 1-0 win 2 seasons back. Forest have a bad record against us, so they've convinced themselves that we're paying the refs. And now after that Cliver probably should have been sent off. I'm going to get more and more comments about brown envelopes. I would just like there to be a non-controversial game between these two sides for once. A lot of play happening in the midfield at the moment. Not much is happening in either box, near either box right now. Sinistera with some lovely footwork. Had some forward passes that he didn't make. Kelly on the ball. Oh, nicely gets that to Tavernier, who's peeled right off the right wing. We've got such an overload on the left here. If we can just work it into the middle of the box. Tavernier trying to do too much again. It's just like having Semenyo on that side. Foul by Kelly. If they're going to dress like a drunken Argentina, they're obviously not going to get referee decisions. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. It's just that little bit of frustration for Tavernier again. Just in the similar way to Semenyo as well. Just like doing a lot well and then just like making a poor decision, not playing a pass when they should do. Tavernier has still been producing chances, but just like, and this is harsh, but it just sort of makes you think a little bit of when Harry Wilson was on loan for us before, who would basically disappear for an entire game and then pop up with a goal. It's like we played with 10 men every time Harry Wilson was on the pitch, but then what is up with my camera? There we go. He would like disappear for basically a whole game, but pop up with a goal now and again. And Tavernier is like producing the odd chance, but whenever he gets the ball, other than that, he's not forwarding the play. He's not actually making any passes after he gets the ball. He's taking on a man and losing it, or he's taking on two men, getting it to that point, and then losing it the third time. Good pressing here, though. Forcing the ball back to the keeper. Sells can't do much other than hit that long, which he does. Bournemouth have got the ball back to Neto. It's 60 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock for me. I realize I haven't given a time check yet. Dominguez has just gone down like he's been shot because he's just got caught by a flailing arm from Alex Scott. Nothing will be given on that. Well, nothing more than a free kick. I mean, that's like hands just below the neck, and he's gone down covering his face. It's just so frustrating. Oh, crud. I completely forgot to put the banner up. Right. Sorry. Thanks for that, Hill and LP. I completely forgot the. I didn't realize for 15 minutes I had the wrong banner showing. These were the starting lineups down below. I will. Oh, that's a lovely long ball, but nothing going for. Let me just put in the changes. Ivor is off for Billing, and Semenyo is off for Tavernier. The poor from the referee there. She gives a foul to Nottingham Forest. I'm not entirely sure what for, and Forest were then on a good counter, but she'd already blown up for a foul. Again, not great quality. I would say that Forest have been the better side in the second half. There's no doubt about that. They've had more possession. They've had the only corners of the game. They've had a couple of free kicks they've tried to create something dangerous from. Bournemouth's pressing has been decent, but it's been very frustrating from a Bournemouth fan. We are just not the better side at the moment. And Gene's outplaying argument is becoming more and more apparent. Because, like I said, it's about a sustained period of one team being better than the other. And I would say this entire second half, Forest have been the better team. It's not been good from Bournemouth. Lovely ball over the top there to Tavares, and Smith wins the ball back well. Zab kind of panics and hits it long. Hudson-Odoi on the ball now on the left-hand side going up against Smith. Plays it in behind to Tavares. Really good ball. Tries a dink to the back post, but there's no one there. Nico Williams is coming in, chased by Tavernier, or Sinistera rather, and the referee has given a corner. Marinakis in the building. If I have a look at the momentum bar, it has been relatively even for the momentum bar. Bournemouth have had their moments in the Forest half, but we just haven't done anything with it. So just very briefly show that up. There's the momentum bar. So you see that second half. It's like it's pretty flat across the entire bit, but nothing much going on there. From the Bournemouth side anyway. Corner in from Forest. Lands Nico Williams on the back post. It's flicked around. It ends up still in the box, but Cook comes out with it and he plays the ball to Scott just behind him. So he's got to get past Dominguez, which he almost does. He's got the pace, but it's a great tackle from Dominguez. And it's a Bournemouth throw on the right-hand side. Dominguez has stayed down, so the referee has stopped the throw-in. But Dominguez is going to get treatment, which means he has to go off the pitch. Is he? She's called people on, but I don't know whether they did. No. She called on the physios, but they didn't come on. Another throw to Bournemouth. Scott was fouled there by Dominguez. And it's a Bournemouth free kick from very similar position to where Forest scored from in the first half. Right-hand side, 40 yards out. Tavernier with the ball in the box. Lovely whipped ball in, but very well defended. And now Morgan Gibbs-White counters, and it is 3-on-6. Great work from Sinistera and Senesi, but Morgan Gibbs-White does keep the ball, and they allow him to turn in field. Nice let passes. Leaves Nico Williams on the right-hand side. He crosses the ball. No, he doesn't. He cuts back. Then he plays it to Yates, to Dominguez in the middle, and he plays the ball straight to Alex Scott. And now Bournemouth have a chance to counter. Scott's just looking for the right pass. He finds it over to Tavernier, a little bit behind him, so he's got to take that and run with it. But now he's being hounded by Hudson-Odoi. Tavernier comes inside, plays it to Philip Billing, who gets it to Adam Smith on the right, passes it back to Billing. And Billing tries to get it inside to a Forest player, but completely fails to do so. And ends up stamping on Dominguez by accident. Just no quality in the final third from Bournemouth. This is just very, very frustrating. Very frustrating. I'm not sure Billing touched him. Dominguez is very frustrating from an opposition fan point. I can understand Forest fans loving him, but from an opposition point of view, the guy collapses at the lightest touch and needs to remember what his feet are for. That might have been a foul, but no, Zabani wins the header over Awonyi. Long ball up to Solanke. Murillo's in a bit of trouble here, but Solanke's hounding him. Just don't foul him. But Murillo does really well. But Solanke's still on him. Yeah, fantastic work from Murillo, but his pass then is poor. Kelly gets the ball out to Sinistera. A nice ball inside to Cook. That's much better. Right, can we push forward? Cook plays the ball to Scott, but it's straight at him. Now Sinistera, one-on-one with Williams. Goes outside, looks to cross it in, but while he crosses it, it comes back off him, and the referee correctly gives a Forest goal kick. Just those counter-attacking opportunities, just nothing's happening. There's correctly called. A lot of opportunities that Bournemouth are getting when they start with Cook or Scott in the middle. The passes that then go wide, or like even the first pass towards the counter-attack, they're being put at the feet of the player that's running forward, not in front of them. So that's halting the progress of the attack. And it's very frustrating because they're basic aspects of like playing a counter-attacking game. Don't put the ball to the guy's feet, put it in front of him so that he can run onto it. Long ball up from Adam Smith over the top of the fullbacks, trying to find Solanke, but Murillo's had a really good game, as has Omar Bamadele for the most part. The two centre-backs have completely shut down Solanke. Bournemouth haven't done enough to get Solanke in the game, I don't think, but at the same time, he's been marked out of the game incredibly well. It's frustrating, especially when you consider, how well he did in the reverse fixture. Lovelier from Alex Scott. Now it's Smith out wide, tries to put the ball in the box. Terrible cross, hacked out by Murillo, cleared further by Morgan Gibbs-White. Senesi heads it to Zabani. Zabani with another crossfield ball too. Zabani's got the hang of those cross balls. Then Sinistera in behind to Kelly. Kelly crosses it, but Omen Bandele hits it out for a throw-in. A little better now. A little better, but can hear the crowd again, but just again, the last ball is not looking anything, has not been great so far. Bournemouth at least have had a lot more of the ball in these last 5 minutes. It's just gone 17 minutes on the clock for me. Well, just past 17 minutes. No, Forest are doing well. Don't get me wrong, Relman Model. I told you that the two centre backs, I think Murillo and Omen Bamadele, are doing really well at cutting Solanke out as much as they can. But Bournemouth have got enough quality in midfield to pass around you. But they're not, which is partly due to good positioning from Forest, but it's also due to the Bournemouth players, A, not showing the quality that they have, and B, there's not enough movement up front, I think, in particular situations. And too much is sort of getting to one point and then just stopping. And they're not really shifting it quickly enough. The players, and then you've got the wide players. Sinistera has looked really good. Unfortunately, he's just gone off. But you've got Tavernier that's not done anything. And Semenyo didn't do anything past the first 10 minutes from that position either. So the wingers aren't doing enough, or at least, one side of the wing is not doing enough. The midfield players aren't shifting the ball quickly enough to really get Forest into uncomfortable positions. And while Forest are lined up well, Forest are defensively organised. Any defence can be moved out by a quick attack, can be moved around by a quick attack. And Bournemouth's attack should be so much faster than it is, and it's just not. So it's some of both in answer to your question. Dominguez has finally gone off, which is great for Bournemouth. The annoying thing is the guy that's replaced him has just come on and won the ball very well. Zabani's just lost out to Awaniyi, but has halted him somewhat, which is good. Hudson-Odoi taking on Smith. A lovely ball into the box, flicked on by a Bournemouth player. Then it goes back to Williams and it's intercepted by Dango Ouattara, who's done well there after coming on. Now Dango's on the ball on the left-hand side, fed by Solanke. Ouattara gets the ball back to Solanke. Solanke still has it. He cuts inside. He's looking for the pass. He finds Tavernier on the right-hand side of the box, who wants to cut inside and shoot. He's going to. It fires straight at a Forest player. But it's a much better counter-attack there. That's our first decent counter-attack of the match, I would say. And the player that hacked down Ouattara, Yates, is getting a yellow card. Yeah, Yates very much brought down Dango there. Nice to see Dango Watara back as well, coming on and having an impact on the wing as well, not as a fullback. Bournemouth's first corner of the second half, I think. Outswinger from Scott. No, inswinger from Tav. Oh, wonderful ball in. Keeper's nowhere, but it's well defended by Ryan Yates. Great ball into the box. Massive whip and dip. Or was that on Bamadele? It's one of the two. One's 32 and one's 22, so it was difficult to tell which number it was. Tavernier gets another chance to put the ball in. Let's hope his next cross is as good as that one was. Binning in there, Solanke in there. That's a big hook in. And there is a foul given. I'm not sure whether that's on the goalie or on one of the defenders, but Forest have got a foul. Alex Scott was... if she's given that against the keeper, that's a terrible call. But if she's given it against... for the keeper, rather, that's a terrible call. But if she gave it against Zabani on the defender he was next to, he was pulling him down, I think that's a fair enough foul to give. Ryan Yates looks like he might have injured his thumb. He's holding his hand, but... Nice ball from Cook into Tavernier. He's surrounded by 3 players, so he needs to do something special here. He loses it out to Forest midfielder. I think that's Danilo. Is it Danilo that came on? Yeah, it was Danilo, right? Because I didn't see the change, and his shirt back hadn't come up yet. Yeah, it's Danilo that came on for Domingos. Scott wins the ball back, and we just about work it well. Another ball over the top for someone to chase, and it's Murillo up against Tavernier. Murillo heads the ball to Tavares, who messes that one up and completely takes out Tavernier. I do think it's a frustrating thing. I labelled Tavares as the one I think we can get at the start of the game. Semenyo didn't do well enough after the first 10 minutes at really going at him. Tavernier needs to do more to get at him as well. In this case, Tavares has completely messed that up. He didn't need to try and hit the ball back over Tavernier, but he did. The only thing that Forest are doing well in that regard for you, Railway Modeler, is that Tavares does look like the weak link, but you do have Hudson-Odoi tracks back now and again, but you do have certainly had Dominguez, and you'll hope that Danilo is able to support him and make sure that Tavernier doesn't get past him every single time. Anyway, free kick level with the penalty area, basically on the right hand side, and you have Tavernier and Cook over it. A bit of jostling. You've got 5 Bournemouth players in the box. Cook and Smith on the edge. Tavernier hits the ball, and it's way over everyone. Not good enough. I would rather have had Alex Scott on that, really, but not good enough from Tavernier. Go straight out for a goal kick. Really good position. Totally unnecessary to let that go out. And now Gio Reyna is coming onto the pitch. Along with... I don't recognise the other Forest sub. Montiel. Sorry. There you go. Montiel, will he come on at right back or will he come on at left back? You'd imagine right back. And Williams could shift to left back. If I was Nuno, I'd be getting Tavares off. And number 21, Anthony Alanga, that is? Number 21 was Alanga, isn't it? Yeah. Alanga, who's done nothing. Kelly has absolutely dominated that side of the pitch. Alanga's not done a thing the entire half, the entire game. Yeah, no, I agree with Eugene on that one. It's just Forest grew into the game. We dominated the first 10 minutes, but it's not been anything special after that at all. It's been really quite poor. This second half has been terrible from Bournemouth for the most part. Montiel comes on for Nico Williams, which is interesting. Oh, throw from Forest instantly cut out by Scott and wins another throw off Danilo. So we'll be, I'm fairly certain to be Gio Reyna on the right-hand side going up against Kelly, which will be oh no, sorry. It's Hudson-Odoi that's on the right-hand side. So Gio Reyna must be either down the middle or on the left. Bournemouth have a throw on the left-hand side level with a penalty area with Kelly. Poor first touch from Dango. Sends the ball straight out of pit. Straight out of play. I don't know whether you're ahead of me at the moment, DC, but I thought the referees had a mostly decent game. Had a very good first half, second half less so. Kelly trying to get past Hudson-Odoi doesn't do so, and the ball goes out for a Forest throw. But it's just situations like that. I just don't know what Bournemouth are now trying to do. Like, why are we interplaying so much on that left-hand side with the players that aren't as familiar with being in that position, let alone playing with those other, that aren't as familiar with those players. You've got Dango, Kelly, and Billing, who haven't really been playing all that much, trying to interplay on that left-hand side. That's not really what we should be trying to do. We should be trying to recycle the ball quicker and just keep trying to manipulate the Forest defense. But we've not been doing that much at all this entire game. Lovely turn from Smith, pushes forward and is taken out by Morgan Gibbs-White, who's not happy about it. See, Tavernier now on the right-hand side is going up against Reyna and Tavares. Tavares does make a good tackle there, but he didn't have anyone to support him. Like Smith wouldn't be up, yes, but Smith wouldn't have been up with him, yes, but like, where's the midfielder that comes along to support him? Scott wasn't near him. Cook wasn't near him. It's just so isolated, and it just doesn't look like Bournemouth at all from this season. This looks like a Gary O'Neill Bournemouth side at the moment. It's just not. There's no real cohesion at all. Yes, we've made a few subs, but the players coming on should be trying to do something. Another ball over the top from Senesi wasn't that good. Ouattara missed out on it. I like that Scott is pushing up quite high, but I do worry about sort of like how that'll leave us defensively in midfield. Nicely done there from Senesi through to Billing. Billing plays it through to Dango Ouattara, who crosses it first time. Lovely ball in. Really well dealt with by Murillo, but I think Solanke makes the wrong call there. He tries to peel to the back post, and he needs to compete for that. The keeper was nowhere. Keeper was absolutely lost. Really nice cross in from Dango. Keeper's nowhere. Solanke should have been going for that. That's better. And I do like Dango on the left-hand side at the moment because he's a decent crosser of the ball using his left foot. Tavernier with the ball in from the corner. Better. Flick, no. I thought there was a flick on, but that was cleared well. Tavernier receives it again, goes back to Kelly, who tries to get it back to Tav. He does keep it in somehow. Flick on from Dango. Billing kind of taken out, but gets it to Tavernier. But he can't keep hold of the ball because he kind of slips on it. And Kirkes is coming on for Lloyd Kelly. I think with Kelly being sort of like still coming back to full fitness, I guess it's just a precautionary measure. He could help do something very much, but he could also be the reason we lose the game. Kirkez. Not very good there on the right hand side from us. Didn't keep hold of the ball. Now Senesi has it, gets it to Cook. Cook plays it inside to Billing quite nicely. Billing can turn. He just about tries a 1-2 with Solanke, but doesn't come off. And Billing there will be getting a yellow card. Billing's been sent off. Why has he got a straight red for? What? It's not a red. That's not getting overturned. It's a really stupid. It's just a totally unnecessary tackle from Billing. He doesn't need to do that. You clip. You don't. Neto's just got himself yellow carded as well because he's come all the way up to remonstrate with the ref, which I don't think is right because Neto's the captain. Neto should be allowed to speak to the ref. But because he's the goalkeeper, he's got a yellow card, which I don't think is right. But to be fair, Neto has a habit of talking too much to a referee and getting himself yellow carded. Billing's off. That's not getting overturned. Really, really poor from Billing. Like clipping him, giving the player a clip is fine. It's a yellow. But he is essentially stamped on the back of his Achilles. Nowhere near the ball. I can't. You just don't see it very often, but I can't really argue against it in the modern game. Neto has the arm up, always running into the pitch, never looks good. Shouldn't. Yeah, I would agree. Aside, that's disgusting from Bill Hill. Trying to guy's Achilles with no hope of getting the ball. Yeah, that's basically it. DC saying that's not a red. If it was a yellow, it's not getting upgraded. As a red, it's not getting downgraded. And I don't think the referee's made a howler there at all. I think she's seen what he's tried to do. If he has just clipped him, hooked his foot around Hudson Odoi's foot, then it's a yellow because he's not damaging the player. It's a cynical challenge. It's the kind of foul that many maybe would like to be a red if he just clips the guy and he goes down and stops the counterattack. But it's a yellow. It's a professional foul. That tackle, he stamped on the guy's. He stamped on his Achilles. It's just unnecessarily damaging the player. And given that I currently have Achilles tendon issues, I can tell you how painful that is. But really poor. And now we've got to hold on. It's like that's like Lewis Cook against Wolves, or that's kind of like Lewis Cook against Wolves. Totally unnecessary. I've long argued that it should be red, being as the 0 attempt at the ball. They don't get given like that, so it grates. Yeah, I know. Mark, it wasn't in anywhere near the penalty area. It's not. It was stopping a counter attack. It wasn't based on a penalty. It was a it was a Nottingham Forest counter attack. Hudson Odoi is just about making his way to running forward to the halfway line, and Philip Billing is coming up behind him and wants to stop him and get it, produce a tactical foul and clear the guy out so that he stopped the attack. But rather than swiping his foot towards him and sort of clipping him, he ends up bringing his foot down on the back of Hudson Odoi's ankle, stands on the guy's Achilles. It's not a pleasant looking tackle. It's nothing overly horrendous, but it's clearly damaged. It's clearly like unnecessarily putting the opposition player at risk, which is why it's a red card. And quite correctly picked out by the referee, sends him off. And what at first I thought it's the wrong call, but Hudson-Odoi is now signalling he can't continue because he's it's quite. I think it's quite right that it's a red. Hudson-Odoi will have to come off now. Oh. I mean, Forest have at least one sub left. I'm fairly certain. So Zalanga, Dominguez, and Williams have come off so far. Hudson-Odoi will add to that. So yeah, they've still. I think this is their last change. This is their last chance to make a change, rather. No, he came back on relatively soon after leaving the field of play, but he's now after running it for a bit, he's now knows he can't continue. Who is that coming on? Ribeiro. I think he's the other youngster. He's the youngster they've just brought in, if I remember correctly. Ribeiro. He's the other new signing from Forest this January. He comes on at right wing, going up against Kirkes. There was me at half-time saying I expect to see a couple goals in this second half because both teams tend to score and concede far more in the second half than they do in the first, but there's not been a huge lot of quality. It should very much be all Forest from now on. Poor touch there from Senesi when clearing, gives the ball straight back to Forest. Ball in from Tavares, and Awonyi completely misses it. This is going to be cleared by Dango, which he does. Only makes it as far as Ribeiro, who tries to shoot and fires it. That would have just about converted in rugby. Ben, he spent the whole time what? Do you mean he spent it down? I think he was down for a bit, received treatment, went off the field of play. And what I'm saying is that once he'd gone off, he came back on pretty quickly. I don't know how long he spent down. I was spending too much time thinking about the red card. But as a player, they then need to just run around for a little bit just to see how they feel, I would say. And he did and realised he couldn't continue. Bournemouth need to just hold on for a point now, I would say, mostly. I don't think Iraola will be very happy at all on this game. It's not been good. After the first 10 minutes, Bournemouth have been pretty darn poor. And it will be all Forest for the last several minutes. 7 minutes of added time were confirmed. And we're soon to hit 92. I'll tell you when I hit that. And Danilo on the ball moves forward without much competition. Scott up against Rayner. 92 minutes now. So we have 5 minutes to hang on for, or maybe find a winner. Forest are moving the ball okay. They need to be a little bit quicker, though. Ribeiro on the ball. Rayner is finding a lot. Sorry, now it's Ribeiro on the ball. It's Montiel, rather. Montiel took the shot before. I'm mixing those two up. Long ball over the top, flicked on quite nicely, but Smith does well there to make sure he doesn't lose the ball, doesn't go for a corner. And he gets... I thought he got a throw in off Tavares, but it doesn't. It flicks up in the air. Yates in the middle of the park on the ball. No pressure on him at all at the moment. Rayner turns too easily. Now Cook now it's Senesi who still has the ball. Senesi's charging forward and did well up until the point at which he got surrounded, and now we don't have a centre back in position. But thankfully, a terrible pass by Danilo. Scott intercepts it, and now you have Tavernier who instantly loses the ball. Oh, Tavernier is so frustrating at the moment. He's a dribbler that can't take it past anyone. Oh, blimey, we're risking that at the back. Kirkes passes it back to Cook, who's got to clear it long, who he does, and tries to find Solanke, who takes a really nice first touch. Dango's offside, so he needs to come back on. Now Kirkes is on. Now Dango on the ball is pushing forward, but tries to find Kirkes. He can't get it past the man. Now Cook on the ball. Still got 3.5 minutes to go. Cook finds Kirkes, who plays the ball back to Senesi, who looks long and plays it down the channel, trying to find Solanke, who does keep it in. No, he doesn't. Not the greatest ball from Senesi there. Yeah, Rob, I do think I mentioned it. I mentioned it earlier on the maybe not today, but I've mentioned it on the channel over the preview and on the FFTV preview. I could see us selling Billing in the summer. I really could. He's not playing games and doing what he just did is not going to endear him to the manager at all. Morgan Gibbs White cuts inside past Scott with a dummy. He shoots low. It's a very poor strike. Thank you, Lorena. Thanks for joining on. Please stick around. Thank you for subscribing. Which is a reminder for me to ask people that are watching and enjoying, please do hit the like button down there. It really does help the channel. It's a small thing. If you enjoyed the video at all, please do give it a like. Tavernier tries to play the ball forward to Solanke. He's battling with Omar Bamidele. Solanke still goes, and Murillo has to clear. And I think it's going out for a corner, is it? And that's been given as a corner. Sells was unable to keep that in. 1 minute and a half. 1 minute and a half. A minute and a half to go. 90 seconds to go. And Bournemouth have a corner. This is a really good chance to nick all 3 points here. Oh my God, my stream's just gone down. There we go. In swinger, I'd imagine from Alex Scott. Or no, it's from Lewis Cook. In swinger from Lewis Cook. Decent ball, easily combated. Smith headers it back in. Not good enough, unfortunately. So 40 seconds of defending, I'd imagine, are coming up now. Danilo plays it ball forward to Rayner. Morgan Gibbs White on the ball. He's too deep, really. Ryan Yates to Danilo. Danilo plays it to... Oh, a ball cross... Oh. Sorry, I forgot the name of the player that I was looking at, and I just sort of like completely stopped my brain functioning. Bournemouth are on a counter-attack from a quick throw. Tavernier on the ball. He's looking for the player to pass to, but cannot get it through to Solanke. But the ball does fall to Lewis Cook, who plays it to Dango Ouattara, who gets it through the legs of Montiel. Pushing forward, got across the ball now. Lovely cross and flicked over. Well defended by Omar Bamidele. Oh, how was the referee's given full time? But how are we just about to have a corner and the referee has blown for full time? She absolutely dragged out the first half, way past what should have been added on. Oh, weird. Anyway, didn't lose. That's something. I mean, from that performance, didn't deserve to win. We really didn't. We didn't deserve to win off that performance. Wasn't good enough. Very frustrating overall. But it is also kind of a shame that we could easily have stopped their goal. Not a lot that Forest could have done about ours, really. But yeah, we could definitely done better there. Very, very low quality game for me. I think just generally one real true moment of quality from Callum Hudson-Odoi. For the most part, I expected this to be a very entertaining game for the neutrals. That was a terrible game. It really wasn't very good at all. Right, okay. Time for a quick break. I'll come back, do a little bit of looking at the stats and sort of have a think about the game. But for the most part, there's not a lot to talk about. So stick around for a couple of minutes and I'll be back. And welcome back. It's the reaction review bit at the end of the game. Full-time score, AFC Bournemouth 1, Nottingham Forest 1. A match very low on quality. Even for the most part, though I would say that if any team was going to win that, it was probably going to be Forest. Although it's difficult, really, because the only reason I say that it was more likely because we were down to 10 men right at the end of the game. But at the same time, I think for the most part, we actually defended quite well. Let me just have a look at some of these comments. Ben was saying, wouldn't mind losing Phil, but you could at least try and find him as well. Yeah, agree. So I agree with you. So does Sai. And yeah, Newcastle might. Forest players' responses a lot on these and giving thank. Maybe. I totally disagree with you there, Jason. But fair's fair. Thank you, Gina. Donald, I think we need a new set piece coach. We did score for hours. Easy to forget because it was 85 minutes. But it was an hour and a half ago or longer. But we did score from a set piece. So, admittedly, we kind of conceded from the second phase of one. If that was a red, then there should have been multiple red cards. No, Jason, the thing is, it's not about the fact that he took him out, because obviously that's a yellow. It's the fact that he stamped on the back of his Achilles when he's nowhere near the ball and quite clearly whether intentionally or not, is unnecessarily doing damage to the player. When you risk the safety is the phrasing. When you risk the safety of an opponent in the tackle, is it risk of the safety? I don't know. It's whatever particular wording is. I'd have to bring up the actual rules again. But basically, given that it was a red card, as it was given as a red card on the field, it was never going to be overturned. There was no way that was getting overturned. But if it had been given as a yellow on the field, I don't think it would have been overturned by VAR either. That's a lot more subjective. And thankfully, VAR didn't get involved. Because on subjective decisions, I would rather have the referee on the pitch make the decision and then stick with it. How nice was it as well? No VAR in that game. Basically nothing. There was no wasted time on things going to the video officials. Right. Okay. Before most of you move out and try and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, can we have some thoughts on the game? How are people feeling with that point? Are you pleased with the point? Disappointed with the performance, which I think most of us will be. What was it? And thoughts on who our best player was? Thoughts on player of the match, whether that be from a Bournemouth perspective, a Forest perspective, or overall, because I think it'd be interesting. There aren't many candidates. But who do people think was man of the match for Bournemouth? And if you're a Forest fan, who do you think was Forest man of the match? All everything had to do was putting a 5 meter sprint and rugby tackle him. And so, essentially, I do think, to be fair, Hudson-Odoi, I would say, is probably faster than Billing, but he doesn't have to do that. What about all the corners? We scored from one of them. That's what I'm saying, Donald. Do you know, just as a question, Don, do you know how many corners are scored from in the Premier League statistically? Because it's 1% of corners across the league. It might be 2. I think it's 1 or 2%. The amount of corners that get a shot on target, I think, is like 7. Like, the vast majority of corners aren't very good in the Premier League, and that's because the actual space in which you're trying to hit is incredibly small. You think the box is big, but the area in which the kick taker is trying to aim the ball is like only about this big. Because you've got to get it through, because they're hit with such pace and they've got to get the dip and they've got to stay away from the keeper, but they can't be too far out and they've got to be in that role. It's very difficult. And yes, okay, you're not under any pressure. Modern footballers, they get paid for it. Yada, 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 yada. Not many corners do that much. We think we still do a lot from corners in the Prem because we've got the old-fashioned thinking still of all the big lads up top, and in the 80s, you just fire it into the box and see what happens, and someone will probably head it in. Yeah, I do think we need to improve on set pieces generally, but I just think that we've actually done that more recently. We've actually scored quite a few goals from set pieces this season. So I personally don't currently agree with the idea that we need a new set piece coach. Although, to be fair, I'm not sure we have a set piece coach. So bringing one in is not a bad idea if we don't have one. Tim, Cherries, great start, but Forest best finish. Yeah, Forest were the better team for fair chunks of that game, particularly the second half. Alan, they all look slow. 2 games in 4 days for 6 days. Yeah, a bit. I mean, But I think that we weren't great in the second half of the West Ham game either. So there's an element to that, yes. And he did. Iraola did make 2 changes to the starting 11 to try and hopefully change things about it. And I think Sinistera was one of our better players, so that helped. Clivert scored, kind of. Sai Zabani did well with his change of role. Change of role? I don't think his role changed at all, Sai. Zabani was still very much going up against Awani and shutting him down as much as he could. I'm not sure what change of role you're talking about. He came out of defense once to track down Morgan Gibbs White, which he did very well with, but that's not generally his role. That's Senesi, and Senesi will do that more often. And in terms of his passing, that's just That's just his passing improving. I don't think his role changed. Appreciate your time. Thanks for the streams, reviews, and the same content. Oh, no problem, Si. Thanks very much for joining, and thank you for staying involved. I do prefer when people, even if I'm disagreeing with you or we're saying the same things, I do like having interaction with everyone on stream. Any chance? Not sure I quite get the comment, Tim. That we don't have great ball retention. We're getting the ball out wide. Tab dribbled over almost every time. Danger only played the dangerous second half. Yeah, agree. I would say my thoughts for Bournemouth man of the match. There's only 3 candidates for me. It's Sinistera, who was our best attacker. I think Lewis Cook did very well in midfield, whilst still looking a little bit iffy at times, but generally had a pretty good game. And Zabani, I think, did really well against Awani. Awani had like almost no chance. Any chance players can be encouraged to stop complaining? Good luck, Tim. Good luck. Yeah, those are the only 3 for me. Is Sinistera, Zabani, and Cook. And it's either Zabani or Sinistera for me, probably Zabani, because I do think that was probably one of the best games I've ever seen him play. Really hounded Awani, barely gave him a sniff. A very physical and aggressive striker that I would expect him to struggle against, and he dominated him for the most part. And some very good passing. His long balls to Sinistera were quality the entire game. Okay, yeah. I wouldn't say that's necessarily changing role, though. Sorry, though I agree with you in that regard. I just think Zabani has attempted a lot of long balls this season, but you'd probably forget them because he hasn't been very good at them. But in this game, I think particularly because Williams tended to stay quite narrow on that right-hand side, Sinistera ended up with a ton of space, and Zabani found him every time. It was very impressive passing from Zabani. And in terms of being more mobile, he moved forward a little bit, but he wasn't really that much more than usual, I don't think. Maybe a tiny bit, but Ben, true, David, there were actual options for the wingers too, but too often either ignored them or yeah. It's Tav was frustrating again. Semenyo started well for the first 10 minutes and then was pathetic afterwards. Sinistera was the quality for the most part, but again, occasionally he also struggled to have impact at times as well. Yeah, very frustrating. In terms of from Forest's side, I think the 2 centre-backs were fantastic. I think Omar Bamadele and Murillo completely shut down Solanke. Solanke really didn't get involved enough in the game at all. We didn't help him in that, but Solanke tried to shift positions. He tried to move off the defenders. He tried to find space out wide, and every time the centre-backs tracked him, Murillo in particular was fantastic. And as much as I was very frustrated with his antics, and falling to the ground far too easily, I thought Dominguez was absolutely quality for them. I think if I was to pick a man of the match across the entire game, I probably would just about give it to Dominguez. It's either him or Murillo. Both were sensational. Yeah, that was Solanke was the defender pocket most of the game. It was Murillo was brilliant. Murillo did not have a good game in the reverse fixture. I mean, obviously Solanke scored 3 goals, but it was far too easy for the attackers to really get at the defense in the reverse fixture. In this one, Solanke got shut down completely. And Murillo did a really, really good job as that. I think Omen Bamadele did well as well. But like I said, I think I just to barely give it to Dominguez because I do think he really dominated that midfield for long periods of the game. As frustrating as it was for him to flop to the floor a lot. Anyway, let's just quickly look at the league table. Very, very quickly. Let's just have a look at the matches, actually. What were the other results? Wolves ended up beating Chelsea 4-2. Mateus Cunha with a hat-trick. Cole Palmer with a goal. That'll do nicely for my fantasy team, but I wish I'd kept Cunha in now. So that one's, wow, 4-2. How Pochettino still has a job, I really do not know. Man United beat West Ham 3-0. Did not see that coming. It's taken a while, but maybe Man United are finally clicking into gear a little bit. And then Bournemouth, obviously, with a 1-1 draw. That puts Wolves above Chelsea and means that there is a little bit of a gap between ourselves and the top half now. 4 points to Chelsea, 5 points to Wolves. We do still have that game in hand against Luton. That still hasn't been arranged yet. I don't know why that hasn't been arranged yet. It's a weird one. But yeah, next match up for the Cherries is away to Fulham next Saturday. I am going to be I've got something on early afternoon. I hope to be able to watch the whole game, but I'm definitely not going to be able to do a watch along for that, unfortunately. I will very much try and get a watch along going for the Newcastle game. Obviously, I usually go to this match, but I just decided not to this year. I've gone up a few times and I just decided to give myself a break from going up for that game. But I will try and get another watch along going for the Newcastle Bournemouth game, but I won't be able to for the Fulham before we end up playing Man City again. And then it's the 5th round of the FA Cup, so that should be hopefully. Away to Fulham is a game we should be trying to get points from, very definitely, and away to Newcastle, that'll be a tough one. But Forest went there and won 3-1. Luton gone there recently and drew 4-4. We could definitely get a Newcastle. But anyway, that'll be enough from me today. If you have enjoyed the stream, please do hit the like button down there and do subscribe. If you're new to the channel, I try and give my unbiased as possible opinions on every game we do, and you'll get videos from us every week in your subscription feed talking about Bournemouth, their upcoming games, and reviewing previous ones. We should have a Cherries in Focus for you coming your way on probably Monday. But we will update the socials on that one as to when that will be coming out live for you. But until the next Cherries Red Army video, I do hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and days to come. And that's it. Up the Cherries.